In this video, I'm going to be ranking The Sims 3 22 playable worlds, excluding university, based on aesthetic, long-term playability, and size, and ranking them from worst to best based on those scores. In last place, obviously, is Barnacle Bay. A lot of people know that this is the worst world. It just really makes no sense. Off of the name, you would think that there would be more of a pirate theme and off of the logo. However, all we're really given, or no, all we're given objectively, is just this pirate ship themed place to eat, which, don't get me wrong, is super cute. But other than that, nothing screams Barnacle Bay. This just looks like a standard neighborhood, and the park is just super gray. Nothing is really giving. Coming in 21st place is one of the most disappointing worlds, Lunar Lakes. I feel like it could have been really cool. This world is supposed to be based off of like another planet, but it really falls short because all of the rabbit holes are just these blue portals, basically. Rabbit holes are already lacking in gameplay, which is fine as long as the building itself is really immersive looking. You can come up with that story yourself, but this just doesn't have that, like, at all. It's also kind of a weird layout and nothing really looks like it goes together, unfortunately. I do really like all the plants and such, though. I think that those look like pretty cool. And the aesthetic itself isn't bad, and the size itself is okay, but I could not see myself playing like a long legacy family here at all. Coming in 20th place might be pretty controversial. It is the supernatural world. I do not think that this is an ugly world per se. However, the size of it, it's just way too big and spread out. I like the aesthetic. I think that there could be some long-term playability here. However, I just don't love it personally. I wish that there was just, things weren't so far apart and that it was just a bit more condensed. It does have a really beautiful botanical garden, and it does also have this baseball field, which I guess you could pretend that you're in Twilight, which is pretty cool. Coming in 19th is Oasis Landing from Into the Future. Now, the aesthetic of this is really, really cool. I love the futuristic architecture in the buildings. However, I don't think that it is... I think it could be a lot better. I do like playing Into the Future. However, I mean, look at it from far away. It's kind of giving nothing. There's just so much wasted space. And I think that it's just very lacking. And I think that I would play Into the Future more if there was more. It just feels way too empty, kind of sterile, and not in like the way of the architecture, because I think it's really beautiful, but it's just not very fluent in itself. None of it really like goes together from like the suburbs to the urban part, and I just wish that there was just a bit more cohesiveness. Coming in 18th place is one of the world adventure worlds. It is the France world. Now, the first thing that comes to mind whenever I travel to this world is that it doesn't really give French to me. It kind of gives just a more rural Monte Vista to me. I feel like the architecture of those is pretty similar, although I love Monte Vista more. I do, however, think that certain parts of it are pretty charming. Coming in 17th is another World Adventures world. It is the Egypt world, and I like this aesthetic a lot more. I think that the pyramids and the Sphinx are really cute. However, in terms of long-term playability, the World Adventure worlds are just going to rank pretty low because what comes with it being so aesthetically different is you don't have the necessary rabbit holes that you would need in a world or just like buildings in general, and you can't just place ones down that pre-exist without it kind of sticking out like a sore thumb. However, I really like the architecture of the existing buildings and, for example, all the things you can do here, and also this home is really beautiful. Coming in 16th place is Roaring Heights. Now, I'm pretty indifferent about Roaring Heights. I really like the aesthetic of it that they were going for, but I feel like it just didn't hit the landing, not in terms of the architecture, but just the world overall. I think that the surrounding landscape doesn't make sense. Like when you see this, you don't think that's what Roaring Heights should look like. It just doesn't really make sense to me, and I feel like landscape is something that I do value pretty highly whenever I'm playing The Sims. And I just don't really like this. However, it does have a pretty beautiful park. But the architecture of the skyscrapers is really beautiful, though. Coming in 15th place, which I know is a lot of people's favorite, is Sunlit Tides. I think it aesthetically is super beautiful. My biggest caveat of why it's only in 15th is it is just way too big. And don't get me wrong, I do love a big world, but when I want a big world, I want something that is sort of not super compact, but pretty compacted. This one is beautiful, but everything is just way too far apart. It takes forever to get from point A to point B. And it just makes me, I find myself just kind of staying around in one area a lot because it takes way too long to travel to other areas. Although this lot is pretty beautiful, I had to include it for those who are interested in getting Sunlit Tides. Coming in 14th is Riverview. This is the free world that came with The Sims 3. And so I did play this more often when I was a kid, when I just had just the base game, because you want to switch it up. You don't want to just play one world. So I would play Riverview as well. But something about it I just don't like. And maybe I'm changing my mind while watching this back, but I do obviously think there are way better worlds, but something about it just doesn't do it for me. It could be that it's one of the first worlds, so like the landscape is pretty tame to me, and like I said, that really matters to me personally in terms of aesthetic. But I do think the long-term playability is really good. You have everything you need. It's really diverse in terms of you could sort of play any sort of storyline here. And overall, I do think it's a pretty solid world. Coming in at 13th is Bridgeport. Now, I know for sure this is a ton of people's favorite world. And I'm going to explain why it is not close to one of my favorite worlds. Bridgeport was the first expansion pack world I ever played because Late Night was my first DLC. And so nostalgically it holds a place in my heart, but to this day I have some pretty serious caveats of why I don't play it anymore. I wish that the city part of Bridgeport wasn't just skyscrapers. I wish that it was laid out to where one lot was a skyscraper and then immediately right next to it was maybe like a little bistro. Like, not ones that pre-exist, but like new buildings, like a bistro that looks like it belongs in like New York City or something. Just so that there was more people walking around. Every townie in this world is they're at home in their apartment or home, or they're in a high-rise, or they're in a cab. No one's ever walking around. I feel like I can never organically meet people, and I'm having to jump around from skyscraper to skyscraper trying to find people, and it just feels so isolating to play in this world. And then the suburban part out here with all the rich, there's just no community lots whatsoever. And to be fair, it doesn't take a lot of time to get into the city, but I just wish that there was just more details, a better layout of the things, more people walking around, so that it actually feels like an alive city and not everyone's just tucked away. Although I do really like the Central Park here, and I think it could be one of my top favorites with those changes. Coming in 12th place is Aurora Skies. Now, Aurora Skies is a Scandinavian style town, and I think that aesthetically it is very beautiful. It is one of my favorite landscape towns of all time. I just think that the nature is pretty unbeatable in terms of a lot of the other worlds. However, I think that where it loses on some parts is long-term playability and size. I always found myself for some reason just getting bored here. I don't know why, because it's a pretty well made town on paper. However, I do wish that there were more things to do within like the landscape. Obviously, I know that's like a difficult challenge, but that's just kind of what I wished. And you can't talk about Aurora Skies without the hot air balloon. This is the best part about Aurora Skies. It is beautiful. Coming in at 11th place, right before our top 10, is China. Now, this Chinese world is objectively, I have to say objectively stunning. Okay, the aesthetic is beautiful. The colors in the landscape, it is so well done. It is so just like not one just shade of color. And this is what I mean whenever I rank, like for example, Riverview lower because it was just sort of like plain. This one, they went all out. And this is the first DLC, you guys. I just love the architecture as well. There's just so much to do. This is definitely my favorite World Adventures world. And obviously it's just a bit lower brought down because of the long-term playability. Again, like I mentioned, you're going to have to hand make all of those buildings that you need to be able to play here long-term. But this is definitely my favorite place to visit when I'm sending my Sims on vacation. I just love the martial arts, the competitions, the quests. I just think it is such a beautiful world. Coming in 10th place, our top 10 is Monte Vista. Now, Monte Vista ranks pretty high in aesthetic for me. I think that aesthetically, it is obviously a beautiful world. It's pretty, I think it's like, I feel like I said in the French one, it's pretty similar to that one, but I think this one just does it a lot better. It's all a lot of those warm tones, you know. And there's obviously a rural side, there's the city center, there's a smaller city center down at the bottom right here, and then also the suburbs down the winding road. There's a lot of places to live, but it is very just strictly one aesthetic, which isn't why it's higher. Coming in 9th place is Lucky Palms. Now, I want to like this world so much more than I do. Something about it I just don't like. I don't really know how to put my finger on it. Like, I want it to feel like High School Musical 2, but it just doesn't for me. I did do a few like Let's Plays with myself here, and I did enjoy them, but I found myself never leaving like my Sims home for some reason. And I did like really love the home. I love the style of the homes here. I feel like doing this is like super fun. It's like not as traditional family style. It's more like mid-century modern, and I do like that. I like that change. But overall, I just feel like, I don't know, it's giving like Strangerville from me. And I don't like really like love it. I want to like it, but I don't. And I just like can't really put into like words why I don't love it, but I do like it. I like it. That's why it's top 10. Okay, top 10 is a really good place to be, but there's just so many other worlds that I'm gonna pick to play over this. However, I do love the houseboats. These are very nostalgic for me from obviously Life Simmers Generations Let's Play. That's where it started. And so I think overall it's a pretty solid world, but there are just ones that I'm obviously gonna pick over this one. Coming in 8th place is Starlight Shores, the world that comes with Showtime. I think this is one of the most underrated worlds and DLCs of all time. I'm going to say this now. Showtime is my favorite Sims 3 DLC. Okay, by far. I never had so much fun playing The Sims 3 than when I was playing Showtime. I really got immersed into my gameplay. It was just so different. That's why I also really like Ambitions. I love being a part of every aspect of my Sims life. And so whenever I can be a part and take place in watching their livelihood, their career, that is just something that is really fun to me and immerses me a lot more than just sending them to a rabbit hole. It really motivates me more to continue playing that sim than just abandon them. And I think that they really hit the mark with this world. It is so beautiful to me. Coming in 7th place is Dragon Valley. Now, I have never played this world before. I actually got it for this video and I played around with it for a little bit, and I have to say I am extremely surprised, and it will definitely be my next play, like very soon. I think that aesthetically it is one of the most beautiful worlds. I think that there's good long-term playability. The size is a 7, which I would say I would need to it would maybe plays differently once after I like play with it, because I did read online, I did research on this one since I hadn't played in it, that a lot of people say it is really spread out, which is what I base size on. If it's too big, it's going to be a low score. If it's too small, it's a low score. However, from the looks of, the aerial view and walking around, I think that it would fit into what I would like personally. Coming in 6th place is Appaloosa Plains. This comes with the Pets expansion pack, and I think that it's 8s across the board, you guys, okay? It's a very, very solid world. There's not much to dislike about it. It's just super beautiful. It has a very autumnal vibe to it. You can live, there's no like big city right for it. It's more like a rural town that has a city center based on like, the aesthetic of everything. And I think that it is the most perfect aesthetic world that they could have made for the Pets expansion pack. I think that it's beautiful. Yeah. Coming in 5th place is Twinbrook. This world came with the Sims 3 Ambitions expansion pack. Now, this one has one of the highest, if not the highest, long-term playabilities, because I just love the aesthetic difference based on when you go from this area, like the swampy area, and then to like the city center area. I love how they really went in with the props here to really further that aesthetic, but then you see the stark difference immediately as soon as you go here. You wouldn't even think they're the same world, however they do blend pretty well as you're playing it with like, the willow trees and all that sort of stuff. And so I think with this one, you can really do a like rags to riches or a fixer-upper, and I think it's just a great world. Coming in 4th place is none other than the original Sunset Valley. Now, you cannot go wrong with Sunset Valley. I think that they really did their work with this being the first world. I just love every part of it. You have the beach, you have the mountains, you have the suburbs, you have the city center. The park itself is beautiful, one of my favorite parks. I do wish that they had more flower spawners there. However, this waterfall is so beautiful, and you just literally cannot go wrong with Sunset Valley at all. Coming in the top 3 now, 3rd place, Midnight Hollow. Midnight Hollow, I don't want to call it underrated because it might be, pretty popular, so it might be properly rated, but I will say it is so beautiful. When you actually get into play with this, you actually realize that so many different aesthetics can fit in here, even though it looks just like one. You meet Sims who go from, very like goth to emo, and then to ones that are just so full of color, and I just love that. I think that it is really like landscape beautiful. There are multiple beaches here. This is giving very Addams Family values. I also just love the toy store. It is such a unique little place, and I love taking like my Sims kids here. I just think that it is one of the most unique worlds, and for that, it ranks so high for me. All right, guys, 2nd place, Hidden Springs. Now, I was thinking before I made this video that Hidden Springs was going to end up being my favorite world because I just love the aesthetic. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. I love the Pacific Northwest. I love the park here. The park has so many flowers, you guys. My Sims like never have to have conventional jobs because they are surviving off of flowers. It is beautiful. It is quite big. So the size got knocked down 2 points because even though it's big, it is pretty laid out. However, I love this area right here. I think that it is beautiful. I love how it comes off of the main road into all these dirt patches and these cabins. I think that the long-term playability is really good. You could seriously have like any sort of aesthetic here of what you want for gameplay, and it's going to fit in with the world. You cannot go wrong with Hidden Springs. If you're thinking about getting any store world, this is the one that I always recommend to people first. Coming in first place is Isla Paradiso from the Island Paradise expansion pack. This one, you just have to look at it, right? I was going back and forth on whether or not I wanted to be first or second because the total score is even with Hidden Springs. However, ultimately, I decided this one just triumphs in a lot of ways. So first of all, the landscape is absolutely beautiful. I love the architecture on the buildings. The city center is just so well laid out. The park, I wish there was more green. However, there's so many green parks around. The colorful buildings, there's just so many flowers. It's just so lush. The size is perfect. It is such a huge world. There's so much to do, so much to see, so much to explore. However, the layout of everything is just perfect, in my opinion. So, do you agree with my ranking? I know that a lot of people might have some opinions based on how I score things and where things lied. So go ahead and leave a comment down below. What's your favorite world? What do you agree or disagree with me? And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!